Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully some more people will filter in. Sorry for posting the link a little bit late. I'm Alex, one of the community leads for Akropolis. You've seen me in the Discord, I'm sure, me and Yana. And so thanks for all joining the second community call we have for today. So we're going to be doing basically bi-weekly community calls on the second and last Wednesday of the month. And so we'll just keep everybody up to date kind of on what that's going to be looking like going into the future, and post a tentative agenda so you guys kind of know what we're going to talk about. And then hopefully we'll get some more questions in Discord. If you guys want to tag your questions with hashtag community call, that would be awesome, because it's a really easy way for us to kind of go through and filter out, or not filter out, but find the questions from people, so that we don't have to scroll through everything. So that would be awesome. So again, I kind of introduced myself. I'm here in the US, so please know that if you don't hear from me in what may be the afternoon where you guys are at, it's probably the middle of the night where I am. So hopefully some other team members can help with that. And then I'm going to pass it to Anna, who's our CEO, and kind of give a brief introduction to herself.
Yeah, hi guys. So yeah, it's a second call that we had. We we'll try to keep the cadence stable. So one of the founders, my co-founder Kate, will jump in a sec. We'll have Yana on the call. She's offline right now. She hasn't not feeling particularly well, but she's listening in. Yeah, we're dialing from all over Europe and the US, as Alex said. So happy to take your calls and go through some of the governance proposals that we're working on, some of the feature requests that you guys put forward, and your ideas around what things matter to you next. Alex, shall we maybe share the agenda just to go through it with a screen share?
Yeah, sure. Give me just 1 second.
Thanks.
You guys see that? Can everybody see that? Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah,
okay. Sorry, I saw nodding heads after I realized that everybody's probably on mute. Okay, so this is kind of just the tentative agenda going through today. So really, we just want to give kind of a Delphi product update and really kind of go over governance and how that works, and kind of some of the decisions we made regarding that. Our APY calculations and changes to the harvest page that are getting introduced. We're really excited to introduce vaults. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. That should be happening this week. And then kind of some other updates with regards to like insurance via Nexus Mutual, and kind of what we're doing on the community website that I'm helping with. And then finally, kind of some completed proposals that weren't really put for vote, but we had with signaling in Discord and kind of the team put into practice. And then some notable feature requests that are in the forum right now that we're hoping will go to snapshot kind of like after this meeting, after a few tweaks. And then basically kind of the proposals that we're as a team writing. And then I only found with hashtag community call 1 question in Discord, but if you guys want to add some extra questions into the chat, that's perfectly fine, and we can kind of go over those at the end. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah, I think if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat as we speak. So we're doing it for you guys ultimately. So feel free to to comment in the group chat, and then we'll unmute so people can ask questions, and we can make it more interactive.
Cool. All right. So starting with governance, as kind of if you guys read our last Medium update, basically we've implemented Snapshot as kind of our off-chain gasless solution. And this is kind of an interim solution while we get our on-chain XDAI solution in the works, which is currently underway, and we're making a ton of progress with that. And so we decided to use Snapshot, obviously, because gas fees are really high right now, and XDAI has a really good solution for that as well. So hopefully we can get you guys voting without having to spend a ton of money to do so. So right now in the Medium update, basically the things that we can propose that we want the community to write proposals on and to be voted on are Delphi product feature requests and integrations, the fees, the ultimate fees that are going to be generated by Delphi, like what we will be charging, new vault strategies or other strategies within Delphi, and a selection and creation for framework for different vaults. So we've seen a lot of proposals relating to the value of Acro and Adele. So those are not going to be considered, at least currently, for voting. So please just keep it to the product itself and kind of really what tools can be used within the product moving forward.
Alex, sorry to interrupt you. Shall we record the call or?
It's recorded.
It's recorded. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Okay, so really how you vote is super easy with Snapshot if you haven't used it. Really, you just go to our Akropolis Snapshot page. You'll be able to see the proposals that are pending and active or completed within there. And then really all you do is connect your wallet, and basically you just sign a gasless transaction to deal with that. And then, so voting weights, we decided to, because of the revenue share that we decided upon initially, hold on one second. Because of the revenue share that we decided on initially, we basically altered the voting weights between Adele and Acro. So one Adele equals 1 vote, and 83 Acro equal 1 vote within our voting scheme. And this is just based on the 28-day volume weighted average price. So basically we were trying to give Acro holders the ability to still participate in voting and have a say, but also give more voting power to Adele holders because they're the ones that are getting the lion's share of the revenue. So this is posted on the forum, but basically the governance workflow is such that you submit a proposal to the governance forum, and we've provided templates on the governance forum. And please give ample time for a community discussion on the forum. And it's really great if you provide a poll as to whether or not you guys want to take this to Snapshot. And obviously, if it's compelling and you guys get a lot of support from the community, the team will also typically agree with that decision. So please just, have a good idea of whether or not people are going to use this as you bring it to Snapshot. And then if it's a yes vote kind of on the poll on the forum, and if you guys think to move forward, a team member, a community member can bring it to Snapshot. But keep in mind, you have to hold a minimum of 20,000 votes in your wallet to actually propose on Snapshot. And that's equivalent to 20,000 Adele or about 1.66 million Acro currently. And you can use both if you navigate to the governance tab within the Delphi UI, you can actually see how many votes your wallet has. And keep in mind too, other people can vote or other people can post proposals on your behalf. So if you have a really good and compelling proposal, but you don't hold 20,000 votes, please contact me. And we can get you squared away to where we can post that proposal on Snapshot. And then one thing that we kind of really want to address that we haven't seen a ton of in the proposals is really addressing the use case and what value it brings to the token holders. Obviously, this is like the most key and critical component to pushing a proposal forward and getting community and team buy-in. So please really focus on the use case and really what value it brings to the rest of Adele and Acro holders. So moving forward to APY calculations. So we had some issues with how we were initially calculating APYs and got some community feedback. So now APY is based on yield distribution events happening over the contracts. And then we're still trying to work to show our vested rewards within the Delphi UI interface and the ability to withdraw specific tokens from harvest and specific pools. And so just kind of something of note is the reason it takes a little while for us to change the front end and the UI is because basically the way that we've structured how the interface works is that we've tied the front end UI to the back end smart contracts. And really that's because it's for transparency reasons and integrity of the data. And so that just provides you guys the most trustful and most truthful information from us so that we can't manipulate what's happening on the front end, but without having it connected to the numbers on the back end. So that's kind of the reason for that. So it does take a little while for us to update the UI for that reason, because we don't just go into the front end and change things right away. We have to change it on the back end first. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to be introducing vaults this week, which we're really excited about. So initially, and just to let you guys know where we're at with that, all of the smart contracts for that have been completed. We just need to update and bring them into the UI. And so really what that's going to look like initially is simple strategies for curve pools. And we actually had a really good feature request for that we're going to be talking about a little bit later. But really initially we're just going to be starting with curve pools. And then we'll further work on different strategies internally. And then we'd also really love for some community input on different vault strategies that you guys kind of want to implement. And hopefully we can get some proposals on Snapshot to get those started right away. That's kind of like priority one for feature requests, just so everybody knows. And so initial vault types are going to be initially stable coins and wrap BTC. And again, both these should be low cost solutions. So we're excited about that. And then as per the architecture, they're going to be modular with interchangeable risk strategies. So that should be helpful for us in creating new strategies. Farm tokens, and this includes things like SNX, comp, and CRV, will be automatically swapped, sold and reinvested as part of the strategy, so that these things can kind of compound on themselves. And right now, again, we haven't set vault fees yet, so that's going to be coming up. And then obviously we want to get some community feedback on those fees. And then for other updates, we have completed Delphi contract insurance via Nexus Mutual. So if you guys aren't familiar with Nexus Mutual, basically what they offer through their platform is smart contract insurance, where you can buy coverage on particular smart contracts to protect yourself and minimize your risk in case there was to be a catastrophic bug in one of our smart contracts. So not only do I recommend that for every project you use, but Delphi is on there now, so you can get contract insurance, which is great. So we've updated the roadmap with dependencies. So if you guys go to our roadmap page, that has been updated. So please feel free to check that out and give us any questions that you have regarding kind of where our roadmap is headed and the timing of it. And then we're really working hard internally to provide some documentation and put forth a proposal regarding Adele and Acro value accrual model. And that's currently under review, and we'll send that out to the community for updates soon. Obviously, price has been a big topic in Discord. And so we're really trying to take our time and be really conscious of that moving forward. So hopefully we'll be able to give you guys an update soon. And so in progress, we're still looking at, well, we're working to get shield mining via Nexus Mutual. And this just allows for stronger risk minimization and spreads coverage a little bit further. We're still working on our DCA, or dollar cost averaging implementation, which is a key selling point for Delphi. So we're happy we're getting that move forward. And then the final thing is I started conversations around a community website similar to Learn to Yearn. So really what we're trying to do is to bring really simple explanations as to what Delphi is, and kind of bring maybe non-crypto native or newer users with more simple explanations into how Delphi works through this website. And hopefully we'll have things on there. I need to work on this, but basically putting tutorial videos from DeFi Dad, who's a part of our community, on there, and providing very simple explanations on like how a transaction works, what gas is, and how to use Delphi. And so we're working on that currently. You can contact me on Discord if you want to get involved with that, or Obi1 CoinObi. I kind of handed the reins over to him as a community lead. So feel free to reach out to him or me if you'd like to get involved with that. Right now, we've bought the domain and it's kind of up and running, but it's kind of an empty shell right now. So we're just putting documentation into that. So if you guys are interested in writing some documentation or providing examples, that would be awesome. So contact me for that. Okay, so moving on to kind of proposals. We've gotten a number of really good proposals. And so initially, if you guys remember, and if you're new to the community, this is kind of how it happened initially. We didn't really have a governance, like a true governance solution up and running at first. So we did signaling through our forum and through Discord. And so our first Delphi improvement proposal, so DIP 001, was to reduce the number of incentivized DEX pools. And the reason for this basically was that we were spreading rewards pretty thin for LP or for liquidity providers across our DEX pools. So the first proposal was to kind of minimize that, to concentrate rewards to a specific number of pools. And if you look back through kind of our reward schedules over the last couple of months, we have cut those back. So we listened to the community and the polls, and we've really reduced the number of DEX pools that we're incentivizing. So the second proposal, DIP 002, was kind of looking at governance tokens versus a balancer governance pool. And so per community discussion, really, we just decided to go with a very simple solution in implementing Snapshot and what will be XDAI, and then keep governance currently to Adele and Acro staking pools, so that you're not subjected to impermanent loss. You're not subject to really high gas costs. So really, this is just the simple and easiest way to address this problem without having to abstract things away, like having a balancer pool and LP tokens that you have to vote with. Okay, and then the final governance proposal that's completed was DIP 003, and this is the reward locking mechanism. So if you've been a part of our community for a while, after we released the Adele token, obviously we got a really nice price pump, right? But then as people started getting their rewards on a regular basis, basically the price dumped quite a bit. And so to kind of mitigate this, we proposed a vesting schedule for rewards so that people don't get their rewards all at once and have the ability to kind of dump their tokens on the market very regularly. And so per our community feedback, we basically initiated a 12-month vesting period for people that are staking Acro and Adele, and a 3-month vesting period for liquidity providers. Obviously, the difference there is that if you're providing liquidity, you're subject to impermanent loss. and a variety of other things. So that's the reason why they have a little bit less time for vesting. And then we have bi-weekly reward distributions. And we're working on a proposal now that I'm going to talk about a little bit to kind of, I know some people weren't very happy about vesting rewards, but hopefully the proposal we're working on internally will kind of provide some clarity or some help with those that are struggling with that concept. Okay, so moving on to notable feature requests and strategies that are kind of under discussion in the forum and that we'd really like to bring to Snapshot as soon as possible. This is nothing has been submitted regarding this yet, although I take that back. We have one that's submitted regarding this, but we'd really like input from the community on strategies for vaults, as I mentioned earlier. So if you guys have some good ideas on some vault strategies that we can implement within Delphi, please write proposals and put those onto the forum. And hopefully we can get those over to Snapshot, because that's a really good way to initially bring more users and then obviously fees onto the Delphi platform and start being able to distribute those to Adele holders, which is kind of why we're all here, right? So hopefully we can get some feedback from you guys, and we're working on strategies internally as well. And so we'll keep you updated on anything that we do on our end. So the first strategy for a vault that was suggested, we call it DeFi strategy 001, is for whitelisting Delphi smart contracts to gauge for weight lock on Curve Finance. Sorry, my dog's going a little crazy right now. So we're for whitelisting Delphi smart contracts to gauge for weight lock on Curve.finance. And this enables a CRV boost to everybody. And so it really helps kind of everyone. And we thought the suggestion in the initial proposal was to implement this for the Curve pools that we have initially, but really there's a limitation there, and it's more feasible to implement this only on the vaults that we have. So we'd like this to move more towards a vault strategy. And obviously we really want to bring this on a Snapshot. So if you guys could go in the forum and just leave some feedback, hopefully the original poster, and I can't remember their name currently, but hopefully we can edit that and then bring it to Snapshot. And then we can initiate kind of a vote on whether we want to bring that strategy on or not. Just from me personally, with reading through and having a conversation on Discord, I think it's a really interesting proposal and doesn't have a lot of downside because it just boosts everyone's Curve rewards. So please take a look at that, and hopefully we can get that on Snapshot soon. So another interesting proposal for a feature request we had was DFIP 006. And it's the automated periodical swap of minted reward tokens to a chosen ERC20 token. So really what this means is that as you get your rewards from using, from either staking or using one of the products on Delphi, you can periodically swap them to an ERC20 token of your choice. Looking at this from a technical and team perspective, it's really, we're kind of limited in this proposal in terms of it's not feasible to allow users to choose whatever ERC20 they want, because we would have to generate a ton of pools to do that. And so our advice to the original poster, if they want team support, is really to kind of rein that back and think about specific indexes. And an example of that is like is PyDAO or various balancer pools, or Set Protocol has like a DeFi Pulse index. So something that allows you to lower your risk profile, but also have the opportunity for alpha, and keep it to just a couple of pools that we have to add rather than, 100 pools for different ERC20 tokens. So that's kind of our suggestion to the original poster for that.
Yeah, just to be really, really clear on the use case, right?
Yeah.
what's the benefit to users? What's the benefit to token holders?
Yeah, exactly. So as I mentioned earlier, again, when you guys, when anyone submits a proposal to the forum, we need to make it very, very clear what the use case is and what benefit that has to users. Because for instance, with this particular proposal, it's a really cool idea, but if only 10 people are going to use it and we don't have enough volume to periodically swap, it's not cost effective. And so we really need to gauge, as you guys are thinking about voting on these proposals and writing these proposals, you really need to gauge community interest and kind of, is this a cost effective strategy that's actually going to make token holders a profit, or is it really cost effective in terms of reward versus upfront cost? So hopefully that one will get updated, and if you guys want to leave some comments, that would be awesome. And then hopefully it will get added to Snapshot as quickly as possible, and we can get a vote out on that. And so the final one, Delphi feature improvement request 008 is another interesting one, and it's titled the yield aggregator for node farming. And so really the TLDR on this is it's a vaulted strategy where rewards are used to purchase ETH-REN and other tokens to run validators for other protocols. Within that proposal, DOT was suggested as kind of a swap. Currently, we're limited in terms of cross-chain swaps. So we'd like it would be helpful to get team support at least to update the proposal to not include anything that's off of the Ethereum chain. And then again, kind of really what needs to be addressed with this current proposal is what is the use case and how does this bring upside for Adele token holders? And so really, this is kind of a common thread with what's been presented on the forum so far is posters and community members, as they're kind of going through and commenting, really need to think critically about, does this use case make sense? And will it provide upside to everyone on using the protocol, or is it just a neat idea? So please consider that when you're posting things. And then hopefully, again, we'll get this on to Snapshot as quickly as we can. Okay, so team proposals that are kind of under consideration and being written. So I mentioned vesting rewards a little bit earlier. So I was talking with a few community members on Discord. And so a lot of people were a little bit upset because as it currently exists, basically you get your rewards on this bi-weekly basis, but they're vested out over 12 months. And so a lot of people were a bit upset that they couldn't compound their rewards, meaning that as their rewards come in, they can just restake them and get a compounding effect on the rewards they're gaining. And so I'm currently trying to write up a proposal and model out what that would look like in terms of if we were able to change the formula for how we calculate rewards, and if your vested rewards can count towards your biweekly distribution. So in that way, we're compounding, but the rewards are still vested over time. So I'm currently working on that, and hopefully we'll have that done soon. And we'll post it on the forum for community feedback, and then hopefully that will go to Snapshot. The second proposal that we're working on internally as a team is weighted rewards based on protocol work. And so really what this means is, as it currently exists, we're not really rewarding users based on work they give to the protocol, meaning that with the exception of liquidity providers, because obviously they're providing liquidity for the protocol. But as it currently exists, a lot of rewards are going to people that are only staking Acro or Adele, and that's not really providing any work to the protocol. And so really what we're trying to do is incentivize different things that will help Delphi in the long run. And so a few of these that we're thinking about are incentivizing rewards for strategy making, for proposal writing, and for voting. And basically users that contribute work to the protocol will be rewarded more than people that just stake in the staking pools. And that way we can actually we need to have quantifiable targets for what work is, and then reward based on those quantifiable targets. And hopefully that will bring more users and more activity into Delphi. And obviously that's a good thing in terms of kind of our value proposition, especially for Adele and Acro holders. Okay, Anna and Kate, that kind of brings us to community questions. Do you guys have anything you want to add on to what I said?
No, I think it's fine. Just
yeah, I think we can jump to the community questions.
Yeah, maybe just next time, kind of break it down a little bit, because I think there's like a lot of narrative, and I think people just get a little bit.
Yeah, basically I can answer a couple of them, and then I can answer some of them as well. So like the first question, someone posted a chart about the development activity. We saw a decline in the last few months. I just checked the chart on our website. I believe it was referring to this. So basically we had pretty much the same activity on June, and the peak of activity was the middle of July. That was pretty normal, because that our original idea was born in June, and then the peak of activity was in like the middle end of July, and then we kind of back to normal. Another thing why the development activity is lower right now is because we removed a front-end repository from on GitHub from public. That's due to, like, all these forks that took place in August. We decided that like our UI is probably way too valuable to have it open on GitHub, and we removed it in the middle of August. That's why. And
yeah, so if a repo is closed effectively, then
the activity doesn't show.
Yeah, that's.
So right now, so if until the end of August, there was like both smart contracts and front end on what tracked on the website. Right now, it's only smart contracts and backend. We have, so how many developers? So we basically obviously have more developers that was in June and July. Right now we have about 3 front-end developers and 4 Solidity developers. Also have some junior developers and interns who are working on front-end as well. Yeah, hope it answers questions about development activity. And also I saw a question about what's the status of audit. I'm not sure that I understand correctly what exact audit, but if we talk about like a couple of security audits that we're supposed to do to check our initial product, like 2 of them are completed, and now we are waiting for Waltz to give them to audit as well. I mean, the audit will be a continuous process because we are keep building, right? And we are going to do audit on everything that we are building.
Cool. Yeah, I saw a question on, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Just a bit of an in-joke. Yeah, the question regarding Sparta. So we've been communicating it on a pretty regular basis that the development pace that we had in the summer isn't physically sustainable for a team of our size. So Sparta was put on hold. So it hasn't been unsuccessful. It simply hasn't been either used or marketed, right? So what we're working on right now is basically integration with our credit delegation. Our approach is different from other CD, and there are ways in which both of them can be used. So we are unequivocally not in a mad rush to launch Sparta. For one simple reason is that if in case of Delphi, the risk of loss of funds is de minimis, it's much higher with under-collateralized lending. So we're taking a more risk-averse, more measured approach. and that's just the way it will be, because there are too many opportunities to lose money in crypto, and we don't want Sparta to be one of those places. So we anticipate that we will have the bandwidth to start focusing on Sparta and working on much tighter integration between Sparta and Delphi so over the next 2 months. So already working, as I mentioned, on integration with our credit delegation, and then closing the loop, so creating positive feedback loop between both of our products. That's something that we'll probably be ready to talk about sort of over the next month and a half or so. What else?
How many tokens will we need to submit a proposal in the future?
Yeah, it's in Alex's doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, have you seen Alex's doc? Because obviously, if somebody's asking a question, they haven't seen it.
Probably, is it public?
It should be public.
The sorry, the agenda.
Yeah, you could just put it in the chat in case people haven't seen it.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
Great, thanks. Yeah, so basically the workflows are there and the amounts are there. Cool. I think this. Yeah, the question around the KuCoin hack.
Well, KuCoin hack. Yeah,
forever or what? Yeah, the answer is or what. KuCoin essentially, aren't particularly constructive communicators at the moment. So obviously, as you're aware, we made a decision in the interest of the token holders to, essentially freeze those tokens. So far, we haven't had any proposal or communication from KuCoin that would be remotely constructive.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for, I mean, they made a few public statements about it, so we're just waiting for them to come with a proposal and like how we can work together to fix it without just doing like, swaps. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So literally we got nothing to say about it since probably the day of the hack. There is no news.
Yeah. And a lot of misleading statements, I'm afraid, from
yeah. So basically, literally got nothing to say about it.
Anything else? I think we've covered all of that, but yeah, I mean, internally, yeah, guys, if you have any questions, just feel free to get unmuted and just ask them live. But our focus essentially is on vaults and vault strategies, and essentially focusing on value accrual mechanisms, which we'll be able to talk about later, because obviously there are legal considerations around that. So we just want to spend a little bit more time in review. I feel like I'm interviewing an investment bank.
I'm seeing myself alive, at least after crypto in 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years in crypto is a very, very long time. I think a lot of things will change. I'm not interviewing for a job, if that's But I mean, all being well, I think in 5 years, fiat will be almost certainly phased out. My hope is that a fully controlled kind of central bank digital currencies will be not the only option for, for the monetary exchange. And my hope is that DeFi will retain a degree of independence, because I think it's very important with what's happening right now, with all the trends that we're seeing at the central banks level. And if that will remain the case in 5 years' time, we hope to be one of the providers of essentially synthetic savings accounts, alternative synthetic savings accounts. Any discussions with other projects? About what?
About what?
No, sure, I understand. But I mean specifically because everything boils down to strategies. Strategies are reasonably well known in the space. The challenge is to have strategies that have a higher capacity, higher cap. So not every strategy can produce an interesting, sustainable return for any arbitrary number of capital deployed, right? So right now we're just focusing on researching, exploring, and later testing strategies that we believe will be a combination of well risk managed, sustainable, and obviously as trustless as possible in the context. We're monitoring other projects for sure, but the focus is on strategies predominantly. Clearly, the project that we learn from a lot and monitor closely is Vion, for sure, and the evolving architecture of the vaults. Okay, do you want to address the marketing question?
Yeah, that's a nice start of the question. I mean, yeah, so basically the guy is like jumping from loving the project to hating the project every couple of weeks. We do marketing and like some kind of community support in different regions, for example, Korea and China. We did active marketing probably in August and September. Right now, since like the market is slowed down, we also like follow the market and slowing down. I mean, that's not the first market cycle for us. So we know exactly when we need to to be more visible and when we need to slow down. So yeah, we are doing marketing right now.
But generally, we've never been too focused just on marketing.
Yeah.
I would say it's always been our weaker side for sure. There's no question about it.
So, and also we don't do we don't pay for like promotion. So if like the question says something related to did we pay him for cover? No, we did not, and we don't do this.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we certainly are more focused on getting the product right and the PMF and the rest we can focus on later. It's very hard to build in Web3. I don't know how many of you guys have that experience firsthand. Yeah, it doesn't compare like with the pace of development or the challenges that you would have in a conventional Web2 ecosystem. So yes, we have to be quite focused. How will the team adapt to increased pressure from US regulators in the DeFi sector? Well, so we don't have direct exposure to that, but clearly the US regulator is the only regulator that is positioned to have a global outreach. Let's put it this way. We were talking just 2 days ago with the CEO of MakerDAO, Steve Becker, right? And his conversations with both US and European regulators, right? There've been some really interesting insights around the fact that DeFi, I mean, obviously everybody's like asking, for backdoors to the products and the currencies and the protocols, but ultimately there is a lot of interest and apparently much higher level of nuanced understanding around what DeFi is. Right now, we're monitoring, right? The worst case scenario is, I suppose, for the ecosystem, is that there will be some fairly insensitive set of regulations that will inevitably lead to some DeFi projects shutting down, and that's been happening already. But ultimately, I think base case scenario is that it will just require KYC from users. I think that's probably the most likely kind of endpoint that the ecosystem is going towards, at least in Europe. I can't speak for Asia, but almost certainly it won't be the case in Asia. Anyway, right now there is no pressure on the DeFi sector as such, right? There's a lot of monitoring, lots of feedback and consultation papers, which I contribute to, but right now everybody's just kind of watching for, I guess, either a landmark case or landmark development. I think this is probably it.
Cool.
Cool.
It's buying token on Akro. Don't buy Akro on KuCoin.
Yeah, don't buy Akro on KuCoin.
Because then we won't be able to help you, I'm afraid.
I mean, until their clear statement how they're going to address it, just
followed by clear actions that are consistent with the clear statement.
All other, like those who already have Akro on KuCoin, that's fine, but just like the price is pretty same on all the exchanges right now, so it's safer to buy on other exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, there's like tons of exchanges where you can buy Akro, just like not KuCoin for now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this question: how much USD you guys have left? We don't hold USD. We're crypto native, and we don't comment on the financial matters of the company. But we will certainly have sufficient to deliver on the roadmap. Unipack immediately staked Akro with you. Is Uniswap the only way to do that? Okay, do you want to address that?
Yeah, just not sure that I understand the question. So basically, you can buy everywhere right now. I mean, at least on Hobby, you can buy and withdraw from Hobby. I'm not sure about other exchanges, but yeah.
What is back staking?
Yeah, so or you can buy on Uniswap and stake, right? But if you buy on centralized exchanges, in terms of staking, you need to withdraw from the exchanges and then stake.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I can't tell about like all the exchanges, but I certainly can tell that on KuCoin deposit and withdrawals are closed right now, and on Huobi everything is open. It's like déjà vu.
Not even funny. Yeah. Okay, do we have any plans to scrap it all? No, we don't. If the community, if there is a compelling argument in favor of, essentially Adele being swapped back into Akro, and that argument and the proposal gets accepted, that could be a scenario under which there is one token. But no, we don't have such plans.
Yeah, for now it's serving its purpose, right? Its original purpose. So if you have Akro, you stake Akro, get Adele, and do participate in governance via Adele. It's now supposed to be a speculative token. And it's happened to be only because of yield farming madness.
Yeah, the hype, yeah. Definitely. That's very good question.
Right now, in terms of like for user to participate in governance, he or she needs like either way to participate in Delphi. So it's not like, okay, I just hold my token somewhere and I'm going to rule the governance. No, you need to get used to Delphi, you need to participate and to understand how to use it.
The best way to support the project, beside coins, yeah. So it's to be, put forward proposals that are, let's say, well considered, right? That ultimately will result in better value. And I think the main direction that can be helpful right now would be vault strategies or any other strategies that aren't necessarily vault related. It can be, let's say, integration with other projects that specifically can result in protocol fees, right? And specifically product fees for Delphi, which are then going to be distributed to active Delphi token holders. So then that's a direct way in which you can help us, ultimately help yourself.
Yeah, that's a good question about completely unbacked from traditional finance. When Delphi, when we thought about Delphi originally during Cadeo product validation day, we also had a few people who basically who don't participate in any crypto activities. And for them, it was one of the main question. Okay, I got it. I got yield, or I got DCA into Bitcoin and let's say out to Bitcoin, and I made money. So how can I use this money, right? So of course we are thinking about it, and this is in our future plans, how to make people basically not only make money on Delphi, earn yield or capital gains, but also how they can use it directly. And the first thing that comes to mind is basically fiat off-ramp, right? But I believe there are a lot of projects who doing something like buying gift cards, etc., from crypto. So, and our plans is to cooperate with those projects as well. But it's for the future, definitely not for the next couple of months.
The ultimate goal is just, I personally am not worried about fiat off ramps or being able to spend that money, because there are multiple companies that are working on that. And it's not something that is core to us. A lot of very smart people are working on the same issue. But the ultimate goal for the company is to be a provider of synthetic high-yield accounts and savings accounts in 0 to negative interest rate economies, which is absolutely coming, not just to Europe. Thoughts on digital euro? No thoughts on digital euro. Thanks, Alex. It will happen. It's it's fairly inevitable. Every central bank is going to issue a central bank controlled digital currency. It's just a matter of time. Are there any plans for the team to use bonding curve to preserve the value of governance tokens? Yeah, Ashish, can you clarify what you mean by the link between bonding curve being able to preserve the value of governance token? So, we use bonding curve in Sparta, for example, where, effectively it becomes like an internal market maker for the internal token of Sparta, which is abstracted away from the users. But I'm not sure I understand your question here in relation to governance. Can you just clarify that, please? Yeah, you can buy us a beer. Yeah, we are tired. There's a lot of work. Send us a beer as an NFT.
Okay, guys, we're just at about over an hour now. So I think we're gonna call it a day on the community call. There's one more thing that I forgot to mention that I do want to address really quick, and that is that just so we're totally transparent and upfront, if a proposal does go through and get accepted on Snapshot, just know that it takes a while for us to implement things. And so we can't just drop all of our development to basically, create a proposal or implement a proposal right away. So please just be patient with the team and the development process, and know that basically what it means when a project gets voted through or a proposal gets voted through on Snapshot, that it becomes part of our roadmap. So just FYI.
Yeah, and just one more point to that. I mean, I was just smiling to myself because I remember somebody in Discord saying, especially as the price was tanking, like basically, I can't believe these guys have been like, in beta for 2 months. Okay, guys, just to give you some context and just, a bit of a understanding of the development pace in Web3, okay? My Ether wallet has been in beta for 3 years, right? Most of Web3, most of DeFi, most of everything that's in Ethereum right now is still in beta. So let's just try and understand the scope of what we're building, how things generally are slow and painful in Web3, which they are. I mean, thank God for DeFi composability, because without it, it would be incredibly painful. But yeah, things do take longer, and most DeFi projects stay in beta for months and years.
It's not only like for crypto, it's in general for the development. So for example, Superhuman has been in beta. I'm not sure if they not in beta right now, but they have been in beta, and you couldn't just download it and use it. So you needed to be promoted by a Superhuman user. Then they get your link, then you download it, and then you can use Superhuman. It's just an example, but all of the project, they go through this stage eventually.
Yeah. So
2 months is like nothing.
Yeah, it's like a prototype. Anyway, guys, yeah, it would be great to make this a little bit more interactive rather than us talking into silence, because that's not super exciting, at least for me personally. Maybe Alex could figure something out with the community. But cool, we need to get going. Thanks for the time and for turning up. And yeah, just we're going to be putting up a few proposals on Snapshot later today. Please come up with yours, make them well considered. And yeah, as Alex said, let's think how they will add value to you as token holders, as opposed to, something cool to do just because it sounds like a cool idea, right?
Cool. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks everybody. And feel free again to reach out to me on Discord if you've got any questions, and then if you're interested in contributing to the community website.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Ciao.